Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight we're talking about how to get your LLC easily. Why? Because you can do it online now. Of course, we have to talk about building your assets while the going is good. And new Nasdaq record. But we already knew this was going to happen because soon as they have announced that they're going to reduce the interest rates in about either 60 days, probably 60 days, maybe even next month, then they know that the stock market and real estate markets and a lot of other markets are going to be off to the races. It's that simple. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Stop struggling now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, I want to thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to share the video because there's a lot of people who are not looking for the information or may be looking for the information. And once again, we're trying our new experiment over at Instagram. So I want to welcome everybody at Instagram, including Teresa. So thank you so much for being in the house tonight over there. And everybody else, make sure you smash the like buttons. Hit the follow buttons, hit the heart buttons. There's several different locations we are around social media. And everybody on podcasts, make sure you get your pen, pads, and papers together because you never know what we will be talking about tonight. First off, let me see who's in the house. Yahweh J is here on the YouTube channel page. Thank you so much for being in the house tonight. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. And he brings his tagline, hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. Received the notification, saw the trailer, and smashed the like button. Yes. One piece it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for that, Yahweh J, a real estate investor, ladies and gentlemen, that's in the house. That's right. He's making things happen. So what I want to do is continue down this line. We have Mo in the house. Mo Better. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Another investor is here and he brings it up. What's up, SSN family? His tagline starts, what's up, E? You know, man, we in the lab. DRCR has been in an absolute tear, and this is the beginning. He's right about that. This is the beginning. That's a stock, ladies and gentlemen. That is a stock. Go put it in. I believe it's on over the counter. So therefore, you need over the counter access. That means Fidelity, Schwab, a few other brokerages can do over the counter. Go study whenever we talk stocks. Nasdaq, this is not on Nasdaq. And when we talk about stocks, you always have to do your own research, ladies and gentlemen. You make it nice and easy for yourself. Make sure you want to invest. Victor Marrero is here. Another real estate investor's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, all. Let's do this. And that's what we do. That's exactly how we do it. We bring it. And Mo says he one piece, the like button, the follow button, the heart button. Thank you so much for that. On the way in, exactly. Thank you so much for that, Mo. And let's get down to business. This is very, very simple, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start it off with a lot of people are sitting here saying, what can I do, Eric, to get into this LLC. I think I need to pay somebody to do it. I think I need to sign up with somebody because they said it. They're going to charge me $99, $49, $200, whatever the case may be. Well, first things first. First things first about an LLC, that's just a limited liability corporation. You can also do a C Corp as well. But when we talk about easily, it all depends on the state. And in this case, I will be talking about Florida, which is easily. Why Florida? Well, first of all, you can go to sunbiz.org. We're going to go there, sunbiz.org. Then you can actually look up to see if the LLC name is available. You can do this in many states. It's just that Florida has no state income tax. Florida also has no LLC state income tax. How do you like that? All right. C corporation now, well, you're going to have to pay something. All right. So keep that in mind, unless they change legislation, which I wouldn't doubt it because they're going to need more revenue. But nonetheless, as it stands now, it's that simple. So as you guys know, we just don't talk about it up in here. We actually show you to make it nice and simple for you. All right. So let's go. We show some love inside the house. What's up, Victor? I know you enjoying retirement. Got to meet you at La Bruja. Exactly. Victor Morrell. No, it hasn't started just yet, I don't think, Mo. I think we got 4 more days in a wake up. I think. Let us know, Victor Morrell, if you are finally out of the W-2 business. Let us know. All right. Now, I'm going to pull this up on screen so everybody will be able to see this. This isn't going to be very hard. Like I said, I don't really have it already up, but sunbiz.org. So this is what we'll do. It's very simple. Now, I will give some recommendations. I always say this. When a person starts out their LLC, most people want to do it out of their basement, out of their office, out of their room, out of their house. There's nothing wrong with that. See this right here, start a business. Wait, hold on. I don't have it on screen yet. Just a second. Let's get this proper. All right. One of the things about getting your LLC, you have to start thinking about what jurisdiction, so to speak, you want it in. But the most important part is a lot of people work out of their home. And if you do high risk or anything of risk and there's a lawsuit, and remember, you're in the United States where lawsuits are like a thing, right? This is the most litigious country in the world. So here's the thing. If you work out of your home, then you better make sure that you have a designated area that you do your work at for your business, because they try to pierce your corporate veil, because if you have additional assets, they try to take those too. All right. So just keep that in mind. So this is why I recommend several things. First, you get your LLC. We're going to go look at sunbiz.org. But some of you would recognize you don't have an office. You don't have office space. That's why there's things called virtual office spaces that actually are at commercial zones, in commercial office locations. This is why I've been talking about Opus Virtual Office forever, for 5 years. The links are down below in the description box. I'm probably going to have to post up a link or two also in the chat room, and so people don't have to go looking. But nonetheless, look at Opus Virtual Office first. What do you receive there? Well, it's very simple. Hold on, I'll do this. So then this way you get the promo code YG1. Let's see if this fits in the chat all in one section. Maybe not. But YG1. That's what we're talking about here, is the promo code. So you don't have to pay the administrative fee. But the reason why I mentioned Opus Virtual Office is because when you sign up for corporations, you will need a location. Now, Florida makes it relatively simple. You can edit. All right. Some states, they charge you more. Some states, they won't allow you to edit right away. It all depends. All right. Just keep that in mind. So here we go with Mo Better talking about DRCR. And 4 cents to 28 cents today. Can only get it on Fidelity, not on Robinhood. Exactly. You can't get it on Robinhood. You can't get it on Webull. You can generally, you're going to have a real brokerage account. All right. Fidelity, Schwab, things like that. Just so everybody knows. Make it nice and simple. Okay. Opus Virtual Office. I see the code was actually in some instances changed. So what I'll do is I'll put it in again in the chat room so people will get it just by itself. This is the link to go check out Opus Virtual Office. All right. So what's so special about Opus Virtual Office is that you have a business address, you have a business phone number included, and you have a business fax number all included. But here's the key. The business phone number, actually a live person answers the phone in your business name. That's what makes it so special. Is that worth $99 per month? That's what it costs. But the $99 per month, you're in business. That's a tax write-off. All right. I put a link down in the chat room, and I'll also put it over at Instagram as well. So here's the thing. Those are important. You have a commercial address, business phone number that somebody answers. They will forward it to you or forward it to a message center or message system that they have built in, included as well. So it's up to you how you want to do things. Now, the other important part is that you want to build business credit to boot. Well, they also help you by reporting to business credit. All right. So those are the first things. Somebody's going to eventually figure out after they start going through this, they'll be like, wait a minute, they're asking for a social security number, EIN number. You're going to want to use an EIN number. And so between like, I don't know, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning, depending on what coast you're on, till about 10 at night, you can get a EIN number. All right. So keep this in mind. But remember, you may need an address. So all this goes hand in hand, right? So just keep those things in mind. You need an EIN number. Where do you go? You go to irs.gov. You don't need to pay anybody to do this. All right. It's that simple. In fact, I'm going to put a link in the chat room for this. So you'll have all the tools necessary. No matter where you decide to get your LLC, you can do it yourself. I blew it. Okay, I couldn't put it. Now I blocked out something, a different thing, but it's okay. I'll have to do it this way. Everybody on Instagram, I can't put any more messages in because I actually messed up and did something else. But nonetheless, here's the EIN where you go get it. I put that in for you. So now you have another link that you can actually go check out. Let's go see here if I can. If I do what I want to do, that means I'm going to erase some things. That's not good. Oh, well, can't do it now that I've already hit the wrong buttons. But here we are. All right. So the EIN number, that's where you go. In fact, some people can probably get it right now if they had an idea about the EIN number. Now, I'm still on screen with sunbiz.org, which is in Florida. So I might as well get to it, right? So it's very simple. We're in English. Start a business, nonprofit, reinstatement, annual reports. Simple, right? File. Haven't been over here in a while. They changed things a little bit, but nonetheless, interesting. E-filing, limited liability, company, profit, nonprofit, corporation, limited partnership. All of these are on the line. All of these work generally the same. All right. It's not that hard. So you want to file articles of incorporation. Very simple. Search records first. All right. You can go by name. You can go by trademark. But let's go by name. Let me just use, this should be probably a name, Tom's Liquors, right? Make it simple. Tom's Liquors. There we go. Tom's London Transit. There is no Tom's Liquors. That's interesting. Nonetheless, it would show Tom's Liquors is available, which is a good thing if you're in the liquor business, right? And you wanted to name it Tom's Business. But that's how simple this is, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Not too hard. Do we agree with this? I hope so. Now, let's get back to where we need to get back to, the front page. This is kind of interesting. So now it's very simple. I can only go so far, but I just want to show you, file your letters or your articles of incorporation. It's not that hard. See how easy this is going to be. Start new filing. Very simple. Look at here. $125 up front. The effective date of filing. So in other words, you could actually put this like when you think you're going to start. It's very important. Limited liability, I would have put in Tom's Liquors, right? Principal place of business. Here we go. Principal address must be a street address. So again, here you go. And you also, if your limited liability company mailing address is same as the principal address, obviously click this box. If it's not, here goes a mailing address for you. Name and address of registered agent. It could be you or could be business. All right, simple. Then you have an address for the registered agent. Not too hard. This isn't rocket science. Clear, right? This is just like filling out a credit card application, except forget the credit stuff, right? Very simple. All right, nothing crazy. Email address, simple. E-signature, simple. And then you have a choice to make about this information. Most bank accounts to obtain workers' comp exemption. Once this document is filed, any changes will require an amendment. So they started amendment fees and things like that. But it's pretty simple. Name and address of persons authorized to manage. You can't have a sole proprietorship, single member, shall I say. So it could just be you. And then they'll need your street address, city, or whatever. Okay, pretty simple. Is there anything hard about that? And then you would just hit continue. And then, of course, you're going to double check, make sure everything's fine. And then, of course, you can pay online. That's right. You can pay right now. And within the next 24 hours, you will have your articles of incorporation with your filing number for the state of Florida. Does that look like about 15 to 20 minutes? That's probably what it is. That's how simple it is. I'm hoping nobody has any questions, but if you do, you can ask them. All right? It's that simple. It's not that hard, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. So we were talking about the DRCR, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Mumu. That's good. Didn't know about Mumu. All right, Paul Castillo, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. And he says his tagline, hello, family. Let's do this. And that's what we do. So does he. He's a real estate investor, another investor in the house, ladies and gentlemen, paying attention. He's talking about the stock Yield Max ETF dividends. Payday is today and tomorrow and all this month. What are Yield Max ETFs? Go to yieldmaxetfs.com. If you want to buy assets that are going to go up in value and receive a dividend, I suggest you go to yieldmaxetfs.com. Stay tuned for all of that, because we'll talk about that shortly, because this is Money Making Monday live stream. I appreciate you bringing it up. But yes, dividends every month, ladies and gentlemen, from Yield Max ETF. So what does it look like? NVIDIA, Apple, it's a bunch. All right, I can't even, Amazon, it just keeps going on and on. The top 500 stocks, ULTY, Yield Max, it's crazy. That's all I can tell you. We'll talk about that shortly. Victor Marrero says, are there any disadvantages with doing the LLC online versus in person with the lawyer? No disadvantages. Well, okay, hold on. I shouldn't say there's no disadvantages. There's slight advantages. When you have your a lawyer who's going to charge you more, then your articles of incorporation, he can guide you on how to structure it a little better than just a normal articles of incorporation, how you're going to write out what your business is going to do, how it's going to be structured. You can get more detail when you have an attorney. With that said, attorneys, whatever, 200, 300 an hour, whatever it's going to cost you, you can do it that way. Or you can do it the other way. Sign up, then call an attorney and say what you're trying to do. Ask him how much he's going to charge you before or after. But either way, that would be the disadvantage, I should say. And that's a major one. A lot of people just want the limited liability structure, and they don't really structure or amend their LLC to add certain things that they might want to add. So those are some of the things that I recommend checking out. All right. So Josiah Luce, welcome on the live stream on Instagram. Thank you so much for being with us this evening in the SSN Nation. Victor Marrero at Paul Castillo. Yes, Robinhood just paid the Yield Max dividends a few minutes ago. Fidelity paid theirs this morning. Either way, it's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And this is what we've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen, getting your monthly paycheck started. That means you have to invest. What do we do? Down below in the description box, you can't get DRCR with Robinhood or Webull, but those links are down below where you can have apps on your phone, which are well known. A lot of people know of them. You get free shares of stock if you download the apps. So please do that if you haven't already. So again, Opus Virtual Office link is down below in the description box. So there's several things down below in the description box that you can check out. All right. So thank you for mentioning it, Victor Marrero and Paul Castillo. And thank you for asking about the disadvantages about the lawyer, because there is a disadvantage. Like I said, when you do it online, you generally have just a general articles of incorporation formed for you by the state. Anytime the government forms something for you by the state, it's generally not to your benefit. So that's why you have to go back in and, make sure you change it a little bit. You don't have to, but it all depends. Once you get big or start having cash flows coming in, you might want to seek out a lawyer if you don't want to have one at the beginning. All right. And a lawyer is a tax write-off as well once you're making money. A3 Saval, another real estate and an investor is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. I greatly appreciate you being here and being part of the SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. He says, hello, fellow investors. Hope everyone is well. What's up, Eric? Yes, everyone is doing well. I hope as well. And I hope you're doing well. And let me know what has happened, if anything, with, the wave. I haven't heard anybody else talking about the wave other than taking an L for the additional price increase, along with a lot of other projects with let's just face facts. 99.99% of all projects have a price increase clause in their contracts. Only Noval, and I'm not going to mention the other company because they're not building anything, are the only ones who have no price increase in their contracts. This is real estate I'm referring to. All right. So we will hear at Mo Better. What's up, big dog? Exactly. Mo is doing his thing. All right. Now, it's that simple. If somebody doesn't understand, please ask in the questions. Remember, we don't charge for questions here. This is the No Guru Zone. We actually help people. We don't have ebooks. We don't have courses. We don't have any webinars, nothing like that. We need you to use your money to buy assets. All right. There's a lot of information out here, but It's not like it's new information. All right. When you're making money, creating wealth, there's one thing for sure. You need money to invest in real assets, the ones that the top 10% invest in of the wealthiest, the ones that the billionaires invest in. What do I mean? If you're new here, the top 10% of the wealthiest own 89% of the stock market. That's where you need to put your money in. We need that drop. We need that number to drop. It probably has dropped. Y'all have to check the latest stuff, but it has to drop because exponentially, I'll put it this way. If somebody has $100 million, which is the top 10%, they have more than that, but I'm just using this example, have $100 million, and everybody else combined only has $10 million, a simple movement of 10% means the 100 million class, which has less people, let's say they split up $10 million. The 90% of people remaining split up $1 million. So you can see why they are going to get wealthier a lot faster than the massive amount of 90% of the people. That's why you need more assets on the stock market. It's simple. All right. Now, hopefully that's a good explanation. Okay, let's see what we got here. Eric, I had a call with Johan. They will speak with Project. Okay, well, that's interesting. We were gone 2 months ago. We had the May Punta Cana Investors Forum. You were asking them on then. Here it is, what, July? May? Yeah, 2 months ago. So, again, we all know how this goes, unfortunately, A3 Saval. It's like, here's how it works. Every increase, people can fight. But what that fight entails is a lawyer. You're going to have to start spending money on an attorney to fight for you. Now you have to start thinking about how much is it going to cost me for this, whatever the situation is. And have you tried to talk to them yourself? That's always a good thing too. Don't think it just has to be an attorney. See if there's other people also that said, hey, why don't we come to a better agreement? But let's face facts. They know they're in no, unfortunately, we are in no position to really go down the rabbit hole. We can go to the lawyers. We can go talk to the government. We can do all of this, but we're going to be spending money and time. How much is that money going to be? Is it going to be $5 grand, $6 grand, $7 grand? And how long of a wait to come to this almost same conclusion that since they're the developer, they can actually raise the price. It's in the contract, right? Unfortunately. So that's all I can say about that. All right. Joe Nay, another investor, is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. And he says, what's good, everybody? I got the notification and just smash that like button, giving it the one piece necessary. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for being in the house. And he says also, I'm getting that ETF reinvested. Joe Nay is also in the Yield Max ETF crowd. I can't blame anybody, but let's just say you don't like Yield Max ETF because it's high risk, high rewards. You don't like that 25% annually. You don't like that 35% annual. You don't like that 50% annually return on your money. You want to stay a little more conservative. Well, everybody knows if I'm going conservative, I have to go with JEPI and JEPQ. 9.5 to 10.5% return annually, plus I receive dividends. Hell yeah, let's go. Now, when we start talking about a few other things, what other things should we, let me see. Oh, ET, Energy Transfer, 8% dividend, and it's an energy company. Long-term play, so to speak. That's not bad. most of you can go look at your 401ks and they're pretty much going to say 8, 9, 10%. They're not going to say like 25%, even though stock market is at the all-time high, even though it's doubled in the last 4 years. Your portfolio didn't double. Your 401k I'm referring to. All right, let's get real. All right, here we go. Eric, I had a call with Johan. We came up with a plan. He will speak with the project to see if they will put the price increase in the back end when it's delivered. Not expecting much, but worth a shot. Now, that is reasonable. I don't see why they would not do that. That's reasonable because either way, they get paid. So what were they proposing? Adding the 20% onto what? Your remaining payments? That's wild. I think that's reasonable. And in fact, I don't see why they wouldn't do that. Oh, I'm glad to hear that at least. I'm very, very happy to hear that. All right, Paul Castillo, Eric, I heard Larimar City Prime Towers 1, 2, and 4 are sold out. And just a few units left in Tower 3. I don't know why they haven't started the project yet. It's ridiculous, disappointing. Paul Castillo, we went over this, as you know. I'm looking for a refund because as you have used that word ridiculous and disappointing in the same sentence, that is exactly how I feel, except I feel even worse because I actually talked about them for over a year. At the end of 2022, 2023, over a year. And then, of course, everybody knows the fallout from about 4 or 5 months ago when I put the video out saying, okay, look, this is BS, right? So they got upset. But the fact of the matter is, whenever I put that video out, it has now turned into actually what I said. It's not happening. So, as everybody knows, in case you're new here, even though I was promoting it, yes, I put money down. Yes, I own there. Yes, they have thousands of dollars. But I have to let everybody know, in case you don't know, I have simply requested a refund. They can have it. They don't need to resell it. They can just give me back a refund, whatever. If they want to jack the price up to $200K, they can have at it. But I don't want to be part of their team, so to speak. I'm not promoting it any longer because I know what's going to happen. We are at what? July 2024. The first phase, even if they said the first phase would be delivered December 2025, that is not possible. Even if they said December 2026, I do not believe possible. So, where does that leave us? You tell me. I can't even guess because at this point, they haven't started and it's July. People have their payments ending in 13 months. After this monthly payment, people have 12 months left. Some people put down 30, 40, 50%. And after they make their payment, if they don't extend the contracts, which so far there's no indication of that. That's one of my conditions, by the way, of me not getting a refund is doing what's right. You have to add on 18 months to 2025 at least. So if you're not talking about deliveries in 2027, then it's bogus. I'm not believing you're going to build. I hate going down this path all the time, but whether you're talking about Horizon Tower 1, Prime Tower 1, Prime Tower 2, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt of not even doing Prime Tower 3 and 4. But the problem is they have scheduled Paradise Towers and Breeze Towers to be delivered in 2026. So even if I pretend like you're going to build 5 towers in 2 years that are 15 floors high, I just, we're talking about 60 floors. So the numbers don't jive. So if I said 24 months, we're going to be building 60 floors, 5 different buildings, you would look at me like, I think you've lost your mind, Eric. That would mean we got to do almost 2.5 floors per month. And we don't even have foundations down. And I just act like Larimar and be like, you don't believe us? I'm like, what kind of response is I don't believe you? Like, the numbers don't jive, man. You can't do it. I don't care what you're saying. So after that, we have to get into, where's those hotels that are supposed to be on the cliff? And oh, by the way, what about them pools and beach clubs that are also supposed to be built on the cliff? And what about the 9 holes of golf that was supposed to be built in first phase? I mean, what about the sports complex? Hotels usually don't take 1 year to build. Now, you can build a hotel that might only have 10 units or 20 units in it or something in a year and a half or something, but you're not going to be building nothing that's a real hotel that has 100 units in it or 150. I don't know how many units the hotels are supposed to have, but there's no hotel that's been built in a year, year and a half in DR. The hotels downtown, it's like 5 years. Come on. This is crazy. And those aren't even 100 units. I mean, this is ridiculousness. So anyhow, all the metrics do not align with what you can do. And the fact that they haven't started even building anything and not showing pictures and things like that is all you need to know. All right, it's disgusting. Once you start the lawyer route, be ready to finish it. That's right. Otherwise, it isn't worth it. Lawyer strategy is to delay, which means more money from you. Exactly, Victor Morel. That's exactly the problem here. That's exactly the problem. That's why when you buy real estate, you need to read through it. Then you need your attorney to read through it, get recommendations. Then you have to go in signing something that you can live with. All right. So first things first, speaking of Larimar, here's the one thing. Larimar, no credit, no price increase we could live with. Here's the one thing that was the out. What happens if you don't deliver by 2025? Here's the problem. All of us, I too, don't worry. We're on the Spain Stock Exchange. It's our baby. What would it look like if we didn't deliver on time? Okay, made sense. Great sense. So here we are. They're on the Spain Stock Exchange. Their stock prices went up. If they built this thing, it'd be one of the top 5 in the world. Everybody believed it. I believed it. I was like, yeah, you're right. Why would that? But they wouldn't sign any penalty clause. And now here we are. They have no penalties, really, other than the attorney saying, well, you go back to them and there has to be a penalty. I was like, yeah, go back to them means cost money. But nonetheless, here we are, unfortunately. And the counterpart that we were talking with as well seems to be in the same boat. And you guys know who that is, Cruise on Land, who's also on that same plateau, who also wants to make something that is awesome. And apparently they go dark. They're not showing videos like they used to. But I digress because I got to throw shade at them too. When somebody tells me in January of 2023 that they're going to build a model and the model is going to be done in July, it wasn't. So then when we come down in November, they built 2 models and an office building. So I was like, well, wait, this just took you 11 months to build a office, 1-level office with 2 models, a studio and a 1-bedroom, which with a door in between that creates a 2-bedroom. And they still didn't have it fully done. So literally it took them 1 year to make 2 models and a floor. And I'm like, well, how are you going to build 5 or 6 floors in 2 years? I don't understand. How's that going to work if you can't even build this in 6 months? So that's where I started being skeptical about how that was going to go. So again, permits up there are special, I guess. I don't know what's going on with those two, but nonetheless, here we go. Curtis Davis is in the house. Mr. Financial is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate. And he says, good evening, SSN family. ABMM, always be making money. That's what that moniker is. And now he has another one, because this right here is the main one you need to do right now. Always be buying stocks, ABBS. That is exactly right. Till the end of time. That's what you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Use your extracurricular funds, disposable income. Buy $10, $5 if you can, 20. It does not matter. Doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you are going. And every time you get a dividend check, you start being like, wait a minute, I can reinvest it like Joe Nay said. So all I'm telling you is listen to Mr. Financial here, ladies and gentlemen. He's got it right. All right. That's how it goes. All right. Yadweef on Instagram. Very nice to see you once again. Nolasco in the house as well. Another couple of investors have shown up on the Instagram page. Make sure you smash the like button on Instagram. Share the videos, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you're at. A lot of people don't know we can do this. All right. So those two things are what we're talking about. What current stock should I buy? I've been bought some NVIDIA after the split and some ETFs also. Well, you're on the right track. It depends on what you're trying to do. You're trying to do high risk, high rewards. Well, then you know where to go. Yield max ETFs. If you're just trying to stay middle of the road, safe, so to speak, then that means you go with the Victor Marrero list. I'm just saying. Or JEPI, JEPQ, SCHD, VOO, but then my favorite, VOOG, not my favorite, but one I like, VOOG, VTI. I mean, just for starters, those are ETFs too. All right. Individual stocks. Well, here's how I look at it. Real estate investment trust. After the increase in interest rates by the Federal Reserve have went up, and they've been able to withstand the increase in prices, because you have to understand a lot of these real estate investment trusts, they actually have loans, interest only loans that are adjustable in some cases. So if they can withstand that and still give out 12, 13, 14, 15% annual returns, then that may be a good thing, because when the interest rates are reduced by the Federal Reserve in less than 60 days, we're off to the races. Real estate goes up. And that also means they now are more flexible, as every 3 months or every 2 months, the interest rate comes down. So here's how this goes. You want something, then I always say ORC, ARR, AGNC. The letter O is very interesting. That's a realty company, O. Just for starters. In fact, let's see here. I'm going to go over here. ORC. There, we'll start playing around a little bit, because this is what we do. We show people, right? Orchard Island Capital. There we go. Come on. Okay. 17.39%. Yeah, it's going down. But remember, real estate invest. Here's ARR. Also on tap. These are high risk, high rewards, but are they really high risk, high rewards? They're investing in real estate. 14.61% ARR. Here's AGNC. Why don't we just check them out? Why not? Again, 14.88. Here's O right here, by the way. Much less real estate, see, much less, 5.94%. So maybe somebody wants to do less risky. An S&P 500 company, real estate partner. See, less risky, 5.94, almost 6%. Maybe you like that instead. PSEC, here, let's go PSEC. See, these are the ones that I've been talking about for a long time. This is 13%. Main Street. Oh, how can we forget about Main Street? This is Maine, and they're at 5.65. But I'm not wanting Maine. There's one I'm missing. It's not Maine that I'm thinking of, but there's just way too many. Let's put it that way. All right. So hopefully that helps out a few. I like real estate investment trust under this current situation because when interest rates decline, we are good. All right, Victor Marrero, I know we have talked about this, but the problem they have with all these Punta Cana projects is the labor force. I was there 2 weeks ago and saw it. We're all competing for the same labor force. Yeah. I think I do have to agree with you. I think I'm going to have to agree with you. That's and here comes the situation. Just what I was talking about. So I have, like, what do we have? I'm trying to think. Inside Vista Cana, right? We have Panorama Gardens, Panorama Park, Panorama Luxury on the lake. We have Urbe Vista, Riviera Castania, Lagoon Residences by Noriega, not even finished. Vista Cana Residences, another apartment complex, not even finished. We have Towers at Vista Cana, not even finished. Then you have downtown Punta Cana, which has REA, Central Park, Palace Suites, The Beach. I'm probably missing other ones. Casa. I'm missing other ones. All that I just mentioned. How many people do you need to build? You have Oceana at in Los Corrales, Blue Marina, Los Corrales, Ocean Bay, Los Corrales, a mystery one that's next to Blue Marina. I don't even know what that is. And you have other ones along the street in the back, Secret Garden, things like this. Where is all these workers going to come from? And then you got to go out to Macau, Moon Palace, Victor Marrero at Conarock Properties. That is a lot of human beings in order to build multiple floors, which that's not even how you build, right? You normally do the gray work first. You do the cement. That's what you build first. Then you have to put in other things like plumbing, electrical. And you have to go floor by floor. Elevators. That's not something you just put in like a week. That's not how it works. So, and if you have 5 floors or 6 floors, or depending on how many floors you have, most places are going to have 4. Well, 5th if you have penthouses. Most places. But they let some areas build higher than 4 floors, with the 5th floor having the penthouse, the terrace. Now they're doing other things like, yeah, you can build 7 floors or, 6 floors high. They're adding. So that even makes it even longer length of time things are going to be built. It's with the same workforce. I want long-term stocks. Well, if you want stocks, well, you got to go with the FANG, Facebook, Apple, NVIDIA, Google, FANG, F-A-N-G. Simple. Tesla. I think I mentioned the ones that you should seek out the best. If you want to try and pick something that's that you think is going to ride. Well, just it's hard to bet against the trillion-dollar companies. Not all the companies I just mentioned are trillion-dollar companies, but they're all very close. So actually, one or two are over, depending on their stock price. Nvidia was over, Apple was over. So these companies, you have to understand it. The analogy, if you missed it, the one where I said the rich, 10% of the rich have $100 million and 90% of people have $10 million. If there's a price increase of just 10%, the few people get $10 million to split amongst them. And the majority of people, 90%, are only splitting 1 million with the 10% increase. So who gets more money? The top 10 who have the $100 million. Right? And the 90% who are sharing 1 million get pennies. So this is the same rule that applies with all of these companies that are in the top 100 on the stock market, because they can use their stock to buy up and coming businesses. So you hear about an industry like AI, Nvidia, has the chips. So they are using money that the little guys can't use. So they're buying up more stuff that's going to bring in more revenue down the line. So everything that's going to come out in the next 5 years is running through the FANG stocks, amongst others. There's several others. But that's why you have to consider some of the top dog stocks. And then Victor Morero mentions this right here, SPY, QQQ, VTI, SCHD. There you go. You've earned invested in over 4,500 companies, very well diversified between all sectors. This includes the major tech stocks. Exactly. That's why we like talking about this. And I'm glad Mr. Financial was here, because we left out one. AVGO, that's Broadcom. Corning, GLW, TSM. Thank you so much for breaking those out, because that's long-term AI. I love it. Yeah, NVIDIA is already there. But we're talking about streaming services. We're talking about all of this, because there's going to be, I don't know if people remember, or, what is that stuff they do in China? Not China, but Japan. Those cartoons. I can't remember the name of them. But anyhow, that is a thing with AI. Because now with AI, you're going to be able to mimic your favorite actors, use their voice. I don't know what's going to happen with the court of law, but their name, image, and likeness, well, maybe not their name, but their image and likeness can be used, because you recognize the person, all built on the back of whatever branding has occurred. They didn't have to pay for the branding when you have AI. All they have to do is AI, make it look like so-and-so. And then here's our script, or better yet, create a script. Because this is what we want to do. We want to have an action, adventure, sci-fi with the lead characters looking like this, talking like, this could be crazy. So your movies can be generated from AI, for instance. That's why there's going to be a big problem coming up. Just like music artists, it's going to be a big problem coming up. The music industry, I don't even know how it's going to survive or what's going to happen. Because now you can tell AI to sound like people, sing like people, lyrics you can add, and they'll create all of it. And now you need nothing except a $200 device or a $100 device. This is crazy. So it's going that way. And the companies that have the software, the companies that have the hardware, which are the top dogs. Apple says, I'm going to have our own chips. And we're trying to do our own AI. Why? Because they have interior branding. They already have millions of customers around the world. They are insulated from other companies. Other companies have to go looking for customers. Apple has their die-hard customers built in. They don't have to go anywhere. People are using their devices. This has been a 40-year thing. All right. So just keep this in mind. This is crazy. So you have to think about all these things from an investor standpoint. Okay. 3, Saval, check out DRCR. And if you do, you can't have Robinhood and Webull because it is an over-the-counter stock. So you have to have a regular brokerage account usually. I don't know if Moomoo has it, but I think Mo did say Moomoo has it. All right, Curtis Davis from Victor Marrero. Yes, sir, GLW is on fire. All right, I hit that one today. They are all over AI, have returned 41.38% year-to-date, 32.3% last 6 months. This one is hot. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you always have a pen, pad, and paper, because you never know what's going to come out of the chat room, because a lot of people can't see it. That's why I have to put it up on screen. All right, Utan Garcia, welcome on Instagram, man. Thank you so much. Make sure you share the video. Smash the like buttons at Instagram. Smash the like buttons at X. Smash the like buttons at YouTube. Smash the like buttons everywhere you see this. Facebook, come on now. Show some love out here. They don't give us any love. We're giving out some information that a lot of people talk about, maybe 1 or 2 things or 3, but look at how many opportunities you have tonight. If you wrote all of them down, you would have like a laundry list of great things to go check out. That's all I'm saying. Anime, that's it. Cartoons. AI going to make movie contracts hard. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So much for voiceover work. I mean, this is crazy. A3 Saval. Thanks, fellas. And that Victor Morel. Yes, I already buy those ETFs. Excellent. A3 Saval, man, you're on the road. You got some real estate. You got some stocks. Now all we got to do is get into the buying a business game or your business being able to generate profits. That's what we need next. You got to be in that game, because 250,000 or more is what's going to be needed 3 years from now to live comfortably. 200,000, okay, you'll still be comfortable. But annually, you're going to have to make 200,000 or more to stay in the game. After this next little push where they wipe out the upper middle class, that means over 100,000. Well, actually, it's over 80,000, but over 100,000 is going to be wiped out. We have people right now living paycheck to paycheck. Some people have a misconception that they think prices are somehow going to go down. In a capitalist system, prices do not go down. They use every trick in the book to increase prices. The last excuse, COVID. And here we are, 3 years later. The only thing that's going to go down is the packaging is going to shrink. They've already done shrinkflation because they're charging more, reducing the package size, and then they're calling it inflation. Now, there is inflation, but when there's price gouging on top of inflation, there's nothing you can do about it. And since we're in a capitalist system, there is no, what shall I say? I don't know if I want to call this communism. I don't know what I want to call it. I won't give it a label. But there is no price fix by the government because we're in a capitalist system. If the government said, here's the prices, and fix the prices at a certain level and says, okay, you guys can make $3 billion a year, fine. But here's the price. So we wouldn't have this industries like, let's say, the gas industry with profits of $300 billion amongst them, right? Giving their CEOs 25 million bonuses and $40 million bonuses. You wouldn't have that type. Well, I'm not saying you wouldn't have it. I'm just saying when you have a total of $300 billion in profits, not revenue, profits, that's insane. You can end world hunger. I mean, this is insane what we're talking about here. And you're still paying out your tax dollars for subsidies to these same companies. You're giving them tax breaks because they built a plant in your state and paying their fair share of the tax. I mean, this is crazy. But here we go. Where can you get that? You got to have a business that gets subsidies or start a new business in, let's call it the space race. Call it the AI. Call it the EV, call it solar, where you can somehow get subsidies from the government. Free money to create your business. You got to love that. And even after you create the business, they still give you subsidies. You got to love that. So when we talk about these kind of things, you have to be in the money-making business. There's none of this, I'm just going to get my W-2. Fine. There are high-paying jobs, yes. But that is not the norm. 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. That's in the United States. That's around the world. I can only imagine what the number is around the world. It's got to be a little higher, because in some countries, 60-70% of the people earning less than $5 a day. So I don't know what you call that. All right. So you got to start thinking, if this is the best that we can do, and people are doing 70%, and we have companies out here earning $400 billion combined in an industry, and 70% of your population is living paycheck to paycheck, there's something wrong. And that isn't going to change in a capitalist system. So this is why we're here. This is why I had the channel name Stop Struggling Now, because it's now. You need to do something now. You can't keep waiting and saying, okay, I'll wait for my 3 years. I'll get promoted. I'll make an extra 5 G's a month. That extra 5 G's a month is eroding away every day. All right. Paul Castillo at Victor Morel, since you already own completed properties in Punta Cana, how long was the delay after the completion deadline on your properties? He doesn't. He doesn't. But how long was the delay after completion deadline? Paul Castillo, here's the situation that when I made my video about there is no number one anymore, what the problems are, projects 4 or 5 years, man. 2 years is what everybody's doing after their delivery dates. Sure, there's a few that hasn't taken 4 to 5 years. A few, like Central Park, for instance. They were just a little over by 4 or 5 months. Seven Palms, they're what's the one? The Villa project. They're over by 3 or 4 months. But it's not the norm. There's a lot of places that built a condo and a pool. If you want a condo and a pool, okay, 2 years, you'll probably get it. But if you want something that has amenities, there's no place that I know of that finished on time. And then it's been 2 years. In the case of some companies, 3 or 4 years after their initial delivery date. Like, well, Victor Morel's involved with one, his property. Like the beach is it's gonna be 2025. The beach is already delivered, but nobody envisioned that they were not going to be delivered till 2026. Some people aren't going to be delivered there till 2026. So that's 5 years, 6 years. It's crazy. So this has been a thing. So we'll keep going with this. And it's unfortunate. This is why I'm like not cool with a lot of stuff. Mo Better, okay, thanks. Victor Marrero, he says at Paul Castillo, I actually haven't closed on my Punta Cana project yet. I've been waiting more than you. I signed contract December 2018 with the original delivery date of 2021. Fully candid. So that's 7 years. But, okay, so here's the thing. He's up front at Galaxy. Meanwhile, they got their Cana Rock. They have their Cana Pearl. They have all in this area. They have built many projects where people are actually living in right now. His project, for some weird reason, along with Blue Marina, we don't know why they lagged. All right. I don't know why. Maybe he knows, but I don't know why. So it's weird. And they won't be done. Well, I haven't seen. In fact, I missed that video. I got to go check it out. I think I did. But they may be done like next year. Finally. Curtis Davis, AI stocks that push some stocks over 40% this year. Costco, Chipotle, there goes another one. Meta, AMD, Amazon. The media push average consumer to buy CD for 5% gains while Victor and I gain 50%. Exactly. Or 401k and go with this set companies that get 1% or 1.3% expense fees annually and give you 9% at the end of the year, 10%, 11%, and go, and you're thinking they're happy. Meanwhile, they're doing what Victor and Mr. Financial are doing and we're doing. And you're happy with your 12%. Meanwhile, you could have been getting 30, 20, 17. I mean, so that's what we're talking about. Here we go. Eric, Boeing CEO made $32 million in planes crash, and they pled guilty today. Exactly. What is that? Their 737 MAX crashing all over the place, and they get subsidies, by the way. And they're part of the defense contracts, also, by the way. So not only subsidies, defense contracts with the government, pleads guilty, $32 million, planes crashing, stock prices going down, and these guys get rewarded and get to keep the money. Crazy stuff. This is what I'm talking about. There's no end in sight. We live in a country where oligarchs are running it. You have to move up this economic ladder. Paul Castillo, but COVID jammed me up and delayed everything almost 2 years. I am supposed to close between March and July 2025. I was there 2 weeks ago and liked what I saw. Hey, Victor Marrero, you know what? You didn't send me any pictures because nobody has seen I haven't seen pictures of Galaxy in over 6-7 months. And we went out there, but we didn't go up to the front to go look at Galaxy. All right. Your project has already been delayed for 3 years now. That's insane. Now I see why Eric is asking for his money back from Larimar. There you go, Paul Castillo. Exactly. Because, again, if I had to really guess, we're looking at 3 years. And I can't even say 3 years because they haven't even started. This might be a hurricane just went by the island. Some of these developers will be trying to use it as, a hurricane came by, whatever, right? It did do some flooding. It did do some damage, especially in Boca Chica. If you missed my Dominican Republic Weekly, episode 22, we talked about it. So there was damage, but they're going to use it as a tactic for delay. I know some developer in Santo Domingo is probably going to use it. Some developer all over the island probably going to try and use it. And they were going to delay anyhow. So this is one of the things that you can see, like, for instance, the pandemic came, there was an excuse. The hurricane that came that went over Punta Cana, right? People used that as an excuse for delay. Here's the thing. After that hurricane, Larimar, Cruise on Land, anybody else, they don't have an excuse because they weren't even built at the time. So anybody who just started after the hurricane, what excuse do they have? They're still going to be late, though, right? That's their game that they play. And if you're going to, and like we were talking earlier about going to court, you can play the game, but it's going to be very hard if you put out $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. It's delivery, your scheduled payment is over. And you put up this type of money or maybe 100,000, it's going to be very hard because the other side of the coin, they're going to tell you, you have all this equity. That's what they're going to tell you. Hey, man, look on the bright side. You have all this equity. Everything's going to be fine. So greedy humans automatically say, okay, you're right. I hear it. I love it. It's double my price. Great. But what is it that you gave away? So now you're sitting there going, just what we talked about right now. We're talking about, look at this. Look at, where was the, just what Mr. Financial said. This right here. Here's the thing, right? This is exactly the thing. So while we're giving our money to these guys to hold, yeah, it's 0% that they're charging us. It's not like we're charged interest, but we don't get anything back in return. So if you have 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 sitting around, and now you find out that you could have received 20%, 30% on your money, that's hard to take back. You have $70,000 and somebody goes, hey man, this year the stock price went up 32%. And you're sitting there like, wait, I have $70,000 sitting over here. That's 20 grand that I would have if I would have invested all of that, which who knows what somebody would do. But I mean, this is what you're giving up. So now to me, when somebody starts 3 years later talking about, look, man, your thing doubled, I'm like, look, man, if I would have had this money from the get-go and wouldn't have invested with you, I would have made 100% back already. And I wouldn't have had to be waiting on your ass. So this is why Paul Castillo was referring to when I said I want my refund back. I'm like, hell yeah, I want a refund back, because you're going to be holding 3 years. Minimum. Potentially 4 if they get their act together. Because again, I'm still trying to figure out how you're going to be able to do all of this in even, let's just call it what it is, 36 months. In 36 months from today, you got to build me Horizon 1, Prime 1, Prime 2, Prime 3, Prime 4. That's 5. Paradise 6, Breeze 7. You got to build me 7 towers, 15 floors high. That's 105 floors. You can start doing the math. The math is not in their favor, because that's 105 floors. That's 36 months. You guys know the math. You got to do 3 floors every month. 3 floors every month. I don't know how you're going to do this. And you're not going to be finished floors either. So you have to build the structure at 3 floors every month, which that may be doable, but highly unlikely because nobody's done it. See, that's the other problem. If Larimar or Claire HP or any developer could build 3 floors every month, they would have all the business. There are condos like the Macau Gardens. That's 3 floors. And then they have a 4th floor, which they have a penthouse, right? Which activity floor, I guess. But to give an example, if you could do 3 floors every month finished, then Macau Gardens would be built in 5 months. That's not doable, right? So why is anybody thinking somebody magically is going to make things happen? That's what pisses me off about Larimar. That's what pisses me off about all these companies who are doing these great projects and then turning around acting like time is not a big deal. Acting like, oh, yeah, we're going to do stuff in 2 years. I'm like, how? Nobody's done that. And if you could do that, then you would have all the business on the island. You wouldn't just have 5 deals or 7 deals. You'd be having every deal, because people be like, I like that process. Where do we sign up? So you understand, time is money here. That's how it is. Time is money. If I can build 5 floors in 7 or 8 months, that means my construction cost is literally nil for additional. I won't have to have addition because I can buy it all within whenever I sell my units. I mean, this is crazy. I would sell out if somebody. I'll tell you this right now. If I said, hey guys, I'm going to have a 5-story condo, and I'll just make a regular condo. I'm going to have 10 stories, 5 and 5, pool in the middle, fitness center at the end, and whatever else you want to make. Mini golf. I don't know why that would be a thing in the Caribbean, but mini golf. It's hot outside. But nonetheless, let's say I have some amenities and I turn around and say, hey guys, I'm going to have the first building, the first phase done, plus the pool, plus the fitness center, 1 year. That would be incredible. People would be like, hell yeah. People would be making money hand over fist. This is insane. So this is why I can't even talk with these guys. It's disgusting when you think about it. Only because it's not doable mathematically, and you can't mess with math. So there is no process that you can do it either. Victor Marrero, Paul Castillo, put damage. Okay, Victor, Paul Castillo, Victor Marrero, your project has already been delayed 3. Yeah, man, that's crazy. So enough about that, because we have to talk about investments. That's the downside of the pre-construction business. They've changed the game. It wasn't like this before. Just like in the United States, it wasn't like this before, where you could do pre-construction and the buyer and the seller could back out. It's not in the benefit of the buyer to back out after his property has went up in value. So why is a contractor, developer putting a clause in where they could back out? I mean, this is crazy. I felt like something was crawling. But anyhow, that's why this is crazy. So they put in clauses like that in America, which they haven't done in the DR yet. The DR is just delayed. But these guys over here in the US, they're just like ruthless. Sure, man, we'll let you buy this for $250,000. It'll be done in 2 years, and it's done in 2 years. But the problem is, these guys are sitting there like, hey, by the way, I'm the developer. Hey, I want to exercise my right. You can have all your money back. Well, you do understand the money that they put down, they use to help develop their project, right? You can have your money back. So they give them the money back. Some people say, yeah, I'll take my money back. That's cool, whatever. And then they turn around and raise the price $200,000 or $300,000. So it's a win for the developer. Because remember, here in the SSN Nation, we talk derivatives. If I come to you and I'm a developer and I say, here, sign on the dotted line that you're going to pay $250,000 for this house, you're going to make monthly payments. Now I can turn this into money because I did this 10 times. So it's worth $2.5 million. But since I have that out clause, it's even better. It's worth more than $2.5 million to me as a developer, because now I have no incentives or whoever buys it, but it's a derivative. So I can take that 2.5 million and go somewhere and say, hey, who will give me 1.5? Who will give me 1 million? So I can stay liquid. Now, what else am I doing? I have another 10 properties that I'm not taking out to the derivative market, but I have $1 million. And you're paying for when these other units get done, and I take my right of refusal, take it back from you. Go, yeah, you can have your 250,000 or whatever you put down, right? You can take that back. And then you put it on the market for whatever the market value is at that time, 500,000, 600,000. But now that it's worth 500 or 600,000, now you have those 10. Now it's $6 million on paper or appraised value. I can now use that again and say, thank you very much. Who will give me $2.5-3 million? Or I'll just sell them outright because it's a hot market because the real estate, the Federal Reserve reduced interest rates. All right. Enough talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, because it's investments that we need to talk about. We talked about the stock market, real estate investments, pre-construction, 0% interest while you're making your down payment over time. Down payments could be 10%, 15%, 20%. If we're talking about Dominican Republic, it's marching towards 20% down, 40% during construction, 40% during delivery. A whole nother ball game. Whole nother ball game. Another problem, Eric, is the commitment by the builders. It's all about how much more I can build in less time. Instead, they should focus on the first one before starting the other one. Exactly. Exactly. But they're not being penalized. Well, I shouldn't say that. They are being penalized now because now buyers have dried up, so to speak. There is no, I can just put out brochures. I can just show this and we're going to sell out within 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. That's not happening. You can forget that. So that's where the fallout has now come, because traditionally what happens is when you invest in anything, now you're waiting on that return of your investment, and that return you are using to invest in another asset, right? That's what we do in America. That's how come housing prices go up. Well, that's what you do in a lot of countries. And so if I have a house, I'll use Texas again, pre-construction, that I bought for $250, it goes up to $600. I turn around and say, oh, I don't want to live in Texas anymore. I'm going to move to another state that I can just go over and buy a similar house for $300,000 and keep $200,000 cash and invest it in the stock market, or $200,000 and go buy me another pre-construction or another property or condos or duplex or triplex, or let me go get an FHA loan and buy a fourplex over here. And all I had to do was put down 3.5% for $1 million. Okay, great. Had to put down, what is that? 35 grand, 40 grand, $1 million FHA loan property. Now I have commercial, and I still have $150,000 sitting, hopefully somewhere, that's returning me 10% or more, which is doable in this market environment. So that's how you win, right? So again, that's the problem. Here we go. Somebody's asking a question. Is there a FTC or SEC and DR to rein in these bad or slow? No. They have certain laws, but their laws aren't designed, because in every contract, force majeure. So if there's a pandemic, that gets them off the hook. For how long? They've been milking it for 2-3 years. If there's a hurricane, that's a force majeure. So what does that mean? Is that 1 year? Is that a year and a half? Also, all contracts allow for +6 months. +6 months. So what does that mean? If for instance, if delivery was supposed to be September of 2025, it can be moved back 6 months. That's in every contract. 180 days usually is in every contract. So that changes to September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So now they could say March 2026 under contract. After that, that's when now you are subject to going to court or getting attorneys, having them call. You're in the same boat, though, because they know court cases will not be settled in a month or 2 or 3. They know the court case won't even be for 7, 8, 9 months. And that's just for the first. It'll be a year and a half later. And even if you get it resolved then, but by then, year and a half has gone by and you've wasted time, energy, and money. So they know that is the system. Just like in America, I mean, it's the same type of system, right? You can delay. Eric, do you know if Larimar and Cruise on Land had a price increase on their units? Larimar, no. If you bought a 2-bedroom for $119,000, you get a 2-bedroom for $119,000 no matter when they build it. But Cruise on Land, that's another story. Cruise on Land has the 3% if year over year, the price or the central bank says that there was, let's say, 4% inflation. Right now, they're saying it's 3.99. So you will be required to pay the 1%, probably added into your contract, and it's only 1% of the amount you owe. Other contracts on the island have 1% of what you're buying. So if you to put down, let's say you bought something for 120,000 and you put down 10%, 12,000, or 20, 24,000, and then you've made 12 payments of, I think that'd be about another 12,000. So you'd have paid like 20, almost 30,000. So you would only owe 90. So you'd pay 1% of 90,000. 10% is $9,000, 1% is 900. Whether it's added into your payment plan, I don't know, but that's what they do. Others have, and they use the ICDV or one also. So it depends on who they use. And others, they'll do the 1% on the total value. So there's a difference between 1,200 or 900. Most try to do on total value. That's why you have an attorney, or you negotiate yourself and say, hey, man, why don't we make this based on the amount I owe? Why would we base it on the total value? So those are the type of things that happen. So hopefully that answers your question. But yes, COL has price increase in their contracts, but it's based on, they give you like a 3% cushion. And then if it goes over 3%, so as long as the annual inflation rate is 3% or below, you have no increase. So at least they do that. Some places do nothing and send you a letter, like at the beach, 20% increase. Or like Christopher, 30% increase. Or like Panorama Gardens, 18% increase. Or like Zeba, 15% increase. Or like Panorama Lake, 7% increase. Yeah, it's a thing. So that's why if there's nothing in your contract when you're buying pre-construction and it does not address inflation, then you need to put that in there. You need to say, hey, I need this to say no price increase. Or if it says we can charge whatever we want in the case of Sabana apartment contracts, you need to say, hell no. That is not even an option, which is what their contract said. That's crazy, right? I mean, they had the nerve to put that in a contract. We can do a price increase at any amount, something along that line. That's crazy. That's insane. Our environment not clean in U.S. Scamala, Kamala for president, Sleepy Joe or indicted Trump so clean in USA. Yeah, this is wild. This is wild. This is wild. A known con man. Court cases. Forget the last 4 years. Forget the last 8 years. Before dude even shows up, he has over 3,000 court cases. I mean, he's been doing dirt for the last 50 years. I'm just like, how can this guy be president potentially not once, but twice? Holy smokes. Holy smokes. In a capitalist society, the government leaves OCs to fend for selves against corruption and 20% inflation. Hey, exactly. That's capitalism. So therefore, you can always have the wealthy being able to bribe your senators. It's just like Rome. This is Rome, basically, a repeat. And then, unfortunately, we have something going on along the lines of Hitler-esque stuff going on as well. So got the worst of both worlds happening. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, Jesus Christ. People, the guys who wrote the Constitution are rolling over in their grave. That's what's happening. So hold on a second. Hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. I got to do something. All right. So I had to send this back and do some things on there. So you know what this means. I'm going to do this. Let's do this a little bit. All right. Little fun. SSN Lifestyle, old school. I've been doing this for 5 years, ladies and gentlemen. I had you guys out there telling people back in the day, come with me, come out here. I got tickets for you. Come join me. All you have to do is show up. I got tickets. You can join me at the parties. This is one of those times. Some of you may know what I'm referring to because this is like 2 or 3 years ago. So this right here is SSN Lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. When you have a free time, when you know a few people, you can actually go to these places. Who says you have to spend $5,000 to go to this location? And who says you have to spend $1,500? You don't. Well, you do, but sometimes you know people, right? So here's what we do. SSN Lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on, come on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you do. Have a little fun, right? Got to get around. So let's see what else we can get into tonight because we went over everything. We went over the investments, the new Nasdaq record. Can somebody explain that? S&P 500 record, Dow Jones record, Nasdaq records. This is insane. What's happening? Is it really insane when the heavy weighted top dog companies are the example I was using? If it's heavily weighted for the top 50 companies, and if those top 50 companies are making billions in profit and they're heavily weighted on the index rises a lot. The same rules apply as my example where I said 10% hold $100 million worth of stocks, let's say, and 90% hold $10 million worth of stocks. Same thing. If you front load the top stocks and they go up higher, then you're going to have records. And that's what's happening here. You just saw what Mr. Financial posted when things were going up 40% this year, 32% this year. All right. So some of you may understand what we're referring to. All right. Let me go see something right now. I wanted to see something because NVIDIA is on Nasdaq. This is just crazy. AI robots, humanoid or automation jobs are going to get eliminated. Yep, exactly. See, this is what people do not understand. This is why the middle class, the upper middle class wipeout is going to happen as well. Because the guys that are getting paid, their jobs are going to be eliminated by robotics. AI is basically robotic as well. So you're sitting there with a group of people getting paid $175,000 each on average in the office. You have your team of 7, 8 people. Your team simply goes into the AI machine and says, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Do you have any? Give me 10 different ideas. Guess what? Your boss can do the same thing. And that AI thing is scary because now not only do I can get rid of 8 people that cost me 1.1 mil. Actually, it cost me more than that because we pay the half of the FICA. Okay, but nonetheless, that's the reason why there's incentive for them to get rid of your ass. But the point I'm trying to make is $1.1 million I can eliminate for something that's going to cost me 10 grand. Seriously. Yeah, and I'll still employ one of those people. You got to oversee the AI. Make sure, well, the guy that has to make sure it's all working properly, I still got to have that guy, right? Making sure all the software is working good around here. So this going to eliminate massive amounts of the upper middle class that's in the tech, that's into other fields. That's going to be reduced. So now you have to come up with another field. What's the other field? Well, quite frankly, what would I do? We got to have manufacturing in the United States. And why on earth are we not going to take control of the things that are coming out in the future? Right? It's only common sense. Things that are coming out in the future need to be built here. The things already cost. See, they already cost an arm and this drives me crazy. Anybody know how much iPhones cost? Android, the top iPhone, top Android phone by Samsung and Apple, how much they actually cost to make versus how much they charge here in America. These guys are making over $1,400 per phone. I mean, this is crazy. So they don't want to make them in America, right? Because here in America, you might have to pay people a livable wage of sorts. But they don't want to do that, so therefore it's not coming. So now you have to go in with some other things that are technology that cost a little bit to make, but helps the world. That's why education matters. Can't get rid of education. All right. Post-split NVIDIA up 5x. Amazon up 70%. Google up 80% since 2022. Exactly. Eric, I have typed in Copilot, or AI exactly what I want, and the software created for perfect done in 10 minutes with minor tweaks. That's what I'm talking about. He just mentioned Copilot. I love it. Oh, man. I love it. Apple makes phone $100 but charges $1,200 to customer. There you go. It ranges, but yeah, the other one allegedly is like $300. The top of the line, whenever it comes out, is like $300, and they're still charging $1,500, $1,600, $1,700. I mean, this is crazy. This is insane. But you live in a capitalist system, and we don't live in a system that is open. So competition is minimal. If I come out, like there's a phone that came out. Oh man, I wish I could remember the name of it. That was in Southern California. If you come out with a phone that you could make, which you can make for $500-$600 and have nearly the same specs as the Samsung and Apple phones, you're not going to be received very well. You're going to be like that company Huawei. That's what you're going to be like. And Huawei is the second leading phone manufacturer in the world now and does not have the United States market. And if they had the United States market, competition would set in. And when I can buy their top of the line phone for $600, and it has specs higher than the top of the line that Apple and Samsung's giving out right now, you can imagine the mad rush for people buying phones for 600. The rest of the world, congratulations, you're in luck. Crazy. All right, that's competition. The true skills needed in 2024, 2025. Some trades or engineer skills to help build or assist AI automation. There you go. There you go. 6-year journey. Get started right now. Hey, you're going to have to be specialized. Some of the trades, though, you can specialize in a year or two or three. Well, not specialize, but get in 1 or 2 years. But trying to be one of them high-level engineers with the few jobs, see, that's the worst part. Again, this is business 101. If I have a store and I sell a myriad of things in my store, I have to stock things. This has been the past. Then Amazon, eBay, and other things come out, right? Where people can sit at home and order, and sure, it'll be here in 2 or 3 days. They'll take it because they can pay less, don't have to go get it, and they know exactly what they're getting. Whereas if you go to the store, you look around, the store doesn't have it. What was the point? You wasted time, gas, and whatever else. Same rules are going to apply here. When they do the AI, engineers and skills, when school graduates come out, they are going to have what? A degree. How many people are going to have a degree in automation, robotics, things like that? You might say, well, I graduated from Stanford. Another person says, I graduated from MIT. Another person goes, I graduated from Cal, which is in Berkeley. Some people may say, I graduated from Princeton, Harvard, right? You know how many people are graduating, right? That's 1,000. Let's just say it. I'll use a simple number, 1,000, right? Let's even use less, 500. I just named about 5 or 6 schools, right? That's 3,000 people who graduated at top tier schools. And how many graduated from schools like mine at Sonoma State? Oh, yeah, they have robotics too. Just like in Cali, UC Davis does too. So does Idaho. So does Wyoming. So does, I mean, come on. This is crazy. So now we have a graduation classes all over that just happened right now. So you got 1 million people out here looking for these AI, automation, engineering type jobs. There's not 1 million jobs available. So now what? This is the same thing. When you are learning and doing education, it never dawned on me when I graduated from Sonoma State that I would be sitting there in a room full of people. I told the story before, but the point is, when I went into interviews and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm top dog. I got skill sets. I got all things that nobody else has, which I did. So when I came out and I'm walking down a hallway and I see literally like 50 people in the hallway waiting to get interviewed, I just then dawned on me. I'm like, wait, all these other colleges had people graduate the same time I did, and they had people graduate last year. They had people graduate mid-semester. Wait a minute. There's a whole bunch of people that could have the same skill set as me. That's why once you realize that, you're like, oh my God, I needed to be more well, I would have had the job, but I told the story about that. Maybe one of these days I'll tell the story again, what happened. But the point of the matter is there was 50 people in the hallway. And that's when I was like, what are all these people doing here? And what the hell? Clearly, if they're here, they already got approved to come to an interview. So, and I know there's not 50 jobs available. And after I'm leaving, I just turned them down. So that means my job is available to somebody that's pretty good. So I was thinking at that point, then you realize this world and the way you might think is small, but think on a larger scale. Because you're not the only one that's in your situation, whatever your situation is. Everybody's in your situation. A lot of people, millions. Eric, how's it going with the AI company you invested in a few months back? Paul Castillo, September is when it's coming out. We just had a video July 5th. We got an update July 5th. It's on the channel. Oh, friends and family is no longer. That's Mr. Wonderful deal. In case you're familiar with Shark Tank, we have a Mr. Wonderful deal for SSN Nation members. You got to love that. All right. Just letting you know. SJ Green, welcome on Instagram. Felix the Cat, what's happening? Chili Label, I see you guys on Instagram. Thank you so much. Make sure you smash the like button, share if you can. Send messages to other people. I think you can do that. So just saying, we just had an update, July 5th. It was live. So you can go check it out. There, we got some other investors. We have some other things going on. So it's pretty cool. Going to be at an event in September as well. And it's going to be awesome. So it's coming along, man. And it's AI, by the way. It helps people with social media. InstaVid AI is what he's referring to. InstaVid AI. A few of you could have gotten in on a startup. Well, you still can. The reason why I'm going to say you still can is because we're connected. It's SSN Nation. And it doesn't take much. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. It didn't take much. Whatever you wanted to put in. The point, though, was you have a little percentage of if it's resold, if there's profits, you get paid back. First, unlike other investors who would invest as a startup, meaning you don't get any returns unless we get a certain number. There's certain qualifications in order to receive any, or resell the company is most often the thing. You have shares of stock, so then you resell it. That's the whole point. All right. So hopefully that helps out. Sad. I thought my CS degree would save me against the other 1,000 candidates for same job. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. AI, cybersecurity jobs are the future. You got that right. Protect the digital network or help build networks, robots, automation. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So now, even though all these people are trained in certain things, they are going to have to learn in order to stay up with the marketplace. And unfortunately, let's just call it what it is. If you are older versus somebody much younger, they might not want to pay you $225,000 because the younger person will say, I'll take $175,000. So this is what you're dealing with as you get older as well. So there's all kinds of things in a capitalist system because the corporation or company has the advantage. They can always fire you. And even if they gave you a layoff notice or they say, hey, we're gonna take away your position in 6 months. Either way, they can get rid of you. And at the same time, they can always bring in somebody else. And you know you're going to be signing those NDAs, right? So you can't talk about nothing on your way out. Your severance package on the way out. Sign this NDA right here. You better be saying something good about the company or don't say anything good at all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun tonight. Easily start a business with an LLC. Check it out at the beginning of this video, sunbiz.org. Florida, it's the state of Florida. The good news, no state LLC tax, but if you decide to form a corporation in Florida, you're going to have capital gains. You're going to have to pay some taxes. All right. in Florida for your C corporation, but not an LLC. All right. Just keep that in mind. And you can get your LLC done in, well, maybe not tonight, tomorrow morning. Just go over there, sunbiz.org, search first to make sure your name is available. And you could have it signed up. You can have your articles of incorporation in a few days, 24 hours. Go get your EIN number. Where? Look down below in the description box. Go get your EIN number. That'll work too. All right. This has been a nice conversation. I would like to have a different conversation, but I don't really want to get into it right now. All I can say is this is about to be bad, but I'll say it. Just go look up Project 2025, please. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Here we try to have everybody win. We're not trying to just make it just for SSN Nation members. We're trying to include everybody. How does a nation grow? Is when all of your citizens are rising. The rising tide lifts all boats. When you only lift a few boats and then 90% of everybody else is not rising, that means some people are on a hill, some people are down here, and you know what rolls downhill? Crap. Because I don't have to live down here, right? So whatever your rules are for living down here can be different than my rules for living up here, instead of everybody living under the same rules. So if you're rich, then you're going to want to do what rich people want to do. I don't want to pay taxes. I want to be able to start a business or borrow money easily. I don't really care if you have health care or not, because I can afford it. I don't really care what happens to your school, because I can afford private school for my kids. Your mindset changes a little bit. That's not in the best interest for you. You don't give a crap, right? So, of course, if somebody says, hey, man, you might want to have prisons, you might want to have private schools, you might want to, you know what we're going to do, right? Why don't we implement a plan where everybody's got to go to a private school? How about give up some vouchers that everybody, I won't get into it tonight, but I'm just saying this all affects capitalist systems and where you are. You want to be in a class system, or do you want to keep it an open system where everybody can rise, which is what America was based on, right? Except not for the first 300 years. It wasn't based on that. But all I'm saying is the last, let's call it 75 years, at least we got some things in place that everybody could try to win. Wasn't limited. So if you're trying to limit a third, a fourth, 50% of your society from being successful, you might as well just be communist China. You might as well just be India, because that's where this is going if people don't pay attention. All right. Paul Castillo, he brought up something very good. Eric, DR, Open Sky Agreement at the USA looks like it is in effect. It's not in effect. It's not in effect. The Congress in the Dominican Republic has to tweak it and approve it. So just letting you know, there were always, from the East Coast, there was always direct flights. It's from the West Coast and a Midwest where you couldn't generally get direct flights. That was the problem. So if the airlines have started it pending ratification, that's a blessing. But generally, summertime, now until around the middle of December, isn't exactly prime time, even though the numbers say different. 758,000 That's incredible. By air in the month of June is insane. Victor Marrero was there in June, and he says at the Hard Rock they were like 92% full. Well, I'll say that's great, but I did not stay at an all-inclusive in June. I was in Los Corrales, and Los Corrales was empty. So it appears all these people are going to the all-inclusive spots. Not all, but a high percentage. Because just like right now, if you went to go look at Airbnb, you will see plenty of units available, and they are not costing no $200 per night or even $100 a night. And you can range from studio, 1 bedroom, and 2 bedroom units that will cost you under $100 per night. So that is what I call, I don't know what to call it really. There's plenty of inventory, but these people, the majority of people, must be staying at all-inclusive spots. So what's going to happen ultimately? We will find out, because all-inclusives are going to raise their prices when more people come. Because now instead of 92%, they could be like 99%, 98%. Because one of these months in the next year, I don't think this year, but sometime in 2025, one of those months, there's going to be 1 million air passengers that land. That's going to be insane. That's going to be insane. That's when we're going to find out the Airbnb game over there for sure. And this is also why I say you got to pay attention to what you buy. Never had something they never had. More tourists onto the island. So you're saying Tampa to DR wasn't a flight, but is it Frontier? Because Frontier expanded their flights over there. American Airlines. Also, they have some unknown airlines that fly there. So Tampa, I think you are right, though. I think you might be right. There was never Tampa direct. I think it was Tampa, and then they always took you to Atlanta or Miami or some weird flight. So that's good news. That's great news, by the way. That's great news if they already implemented it. Actually, Hard Rock was at 98%. See, this is what I actually think rentals can do great if they have the right amenities. Exactly. So if they were at 98%, which the month of June had 758,000 people by air came, that's incredible. Incredible. And they don't even have open skies, and they don't even have all the airlines on track. More airlines are adding flights in August and September and December of this year. So that means all these numbers are going to increase, just like Paul Castillo was saying. All those numbers are going to increase. 98% is believable. There we go. It's Frontier. Yeah. Frontier announced already like 3 months ago that they were going to add more flights. They announced they want to take over as the main carrier. That's how much they were talking. They were doing bold statements. And I can't blame them, because with their what do they run? 737s or Airbuses, Airbus 320. Their Airbuses are excellent and efficient planes. They have an advantage. Most of their fleet isn't 20 years old. So therefore, they have efficient airplanes, perfect for going short distances, and they have a hub. So they're making use of it. So all they have to do next is get their hub, which is Denver. They got to have an East Coast hub, and then they'd be doing some things big time. So that is cool. That's awesome. Direct flight from Tampa to DR is great. Now I won't have to drive to Orlando Airport for the only direct flight. Exactly. That is great news, but it's Frontier. So Frontier, they actually changed their things. They're actually pretty good. Their seats don't recline unless you're in the first 4 or 5 rows. But that's why you get the miles, right? So you get your seating free and things like that, right? But you got to go 7, 8 trips. I mean, something like that. No, it's more than that. You're going to need the mileage. You got to pay for your bags. Well, actually, you got to pay for bags on almost every airline now. And you have to pay for your carry-on. Or you can have a personal item that's like 19 by 24 by 10 inches wide. Personal item you can carry on that big. But a regular carry-on, they're going to jack you. You're going to have to pay. Just saying. The carry-on with wheels, that's like 24 inches or so. You're going to have to pay. All right. But yeah, that's great news. Victor Marrero, yes, indeed. It'll be much better now. You ain't lying. So if they started that already, which, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. They already announced earlier this year that they were going to add additional flights. They're trying to take over the Caribbean. So that means, like Paul Castillo was alluding to, more people are coming. Because these flights are not the flights from Florida is not going to be like $400. They're probably like $170, $200 round trip, right? Something like that. And sometimes they're going to have specials, $79 each way. Get discount DIN or get the next pack over. Because I use Frontier, so I don't mind Frontier because generally I'm on the plane for like 3 hours or less. So I don't mind. Plus, I have mile stuff, so I don't have to pay for stuff. Some things, like my seat, I don't have to pay for. I can bring a check bag, all these things. Dallas used to be the most expensive. Tickets from Dallas to Punta Cana, $300. That's good because it used to be way more than that out of Dallas. So I guess they may have implemented. Oh, wait, no Frontier. I roll with JetBlue since they give me the military discount plus the extra leg room upgraded seats. There we go, Victor Marrero. JetBlue, though, I don't think they fly direct. Air Country, direct flight, but Frontier has one stop to Punta Cana. Air Country, direct flight. I'm not, well, all I know is there's a lot of flights going over there now, and a lot of different airlines. All because it's an open area now, so they have all these airlines trying to get a piece of the pie. Because if you have 750,000 passengers by air and you get like 10 or 20 or 30% of that market, that's significant numbers. 30% is 200,000 coming on your airline that month, and everybody's paying on average $300 round trip. That's a lot of money, right? For a plane that you own. So that's something to consider. All right. Some of you may be going, I just joined us. We talked about the LLC earlier. You're going to have to rewind, watch the replay. The new Nasdaq record, we talked about that a little bit because stocks is what you should be buying right now, whether it's $10, $15, $20, $30 that you have to spend. Try just a little bit at a time. So we will see how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. We will see how it goes. Now, I'm going to wrap this up. We've been on here for a couple of hours, been on Instagram for a few hours. Enrique, Paulie, thank you so much for joining us on Instagram. Thank you so much. And make sure you smash the like buttons. Make sure you smash the heart buttons. Make sure you smash the arrow buttons. Make sure you tell other people, share the videos, send to friends. That's all I can tell you right now. We'll see you on Wednesday. So come back on Wednesday. A lot of you won't be able to get in the chat room. The reason why is because you see this icon next to their name means on YouTube, they're members of the channel. So members of the channel on Wednesday are the only ones that can be in the chat room. That's it. So if you're not a member, you can watch the live stream at 8:50 p.m. But on Wednesday at 8:50 p.m., only members with the icon can be in the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And do I know what I'm going to talk about? No, I don't. But please come back and join us because whatever we're going to talk about is going to help you. Now, I left some things out. We have our own people here in the house, our own Professor Auntie Val. Coffee, tea. She has started her beachfront Java a few months ago. Maybe it's a year already. So we got to support our own. It's premium blended beans, whole bean. You like espresso, fine ground, drip ground, Keurig. She has all of that for coffee. Where do you find your best coffee? Is it in Central America? Yes. Is it in South America? Yes. Is it in Africa? Yes. Is it in Indonesia? Yes. She has all those bases covered. Now, go over there, put in the SSN Lifestyle, all capital letters, all one word, and you receive a discount for life after your first order. So test. Just go order one thing. $20, $15, $20, $30, just one. Because then after that, if you love what she has, there's over 20 different varietals for coffee. Tea, holistic, organics, things like that. Go over and show some love. Free shipping in the United States. And if you're in Alaska and Hawaii, it costs a little bit. If you're outside in international waters, it's going to cost you a lot more. But Ziploc bag, all fresh. Can't go wrong. So go show some love. SSN Lifestyle is the promo code. You get a discount after your first order for life. Go show some love. All right, here we go. See, this is crazy. This is what I'm talking about right here. LAX to Punta Cana, 800 per flight. See, this is what I'm saying. That is not good. And you can't get, well, you're going to have to fly American to get there. Well, actually, you can't even get there in one day, I don't think. You have to take the late night flight to get there the next day in the morning or afternoon. There is no flight, I don't think, that leaves at like 6 in the morning and you get to DR. There's no flights. And what he's talking about is a connecting flight. So that's the other thing. Curtis Davis, thanks, Eric. All right, man. You're welcome, man. All right. If anybody has anything that they want to discuss right now, just put it in the chat room. That applies for everything. On Instagram, I messed up. Carleon Tafari, welcome on Instagram. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you let other people know. And on Wednesday night, in fact, I'm going to add something on Wednesday night because I have been doing live streams. On Wednesday night, I'm going to do live there. Apparently, nobody has used the chat room there. So, once again, only one person has used the chat room. But on Wednesday night, I might do live stream there, even though, but there's no chat room anybody can utilize or anything like that. But everybody can watch. So, there we go. I'll do that. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I love you guys very much. Pay attention. I highly suggest you pay attention to this year. Everybody get out and vote, please. And pay attention to a thing called Project 2025, because depending on who you are, it's going to affect you and it's going to affect certain people greater than others. All right. So just keep that in mind. And it's going to affect a lot of people, quite frankly, that all walks of life. But again, women and minorities, things that have already been in place over the last 30, 40, 50 years is trying to be removed, which is not a good thing because in America history and around the world, those in power have never just arbitrarily tried to be good guys for everybody. They've always tried to take power and make sure their friends and their people, so to speak, whoever that is, stay in power and let everybody else have to be in a different tier. So just keep this in mind. Check it out. And here we go. Let's see. 800. That's insane. Exactly. You can fly to Europe. That's what I was saying. And back in low season with that, once inside Europe, you can fly one country to another with the 80 to 100 bucks. Man, Victor Marrero, every time you mention the Eurozone, man, I just sit here and go, I was supposed to be going this summer. Actually, not this summer because summer's busy over there. But nonetheless, I was supposed to be going this year back to the homeland of France. Go visit. So every time he says this, it just drives me crazy because he's exactly right. And it's even worse. It's even worse than what he's saying. What do I mean by worse? This is what I mean. I'm sitting in the Eurozone. You go, this could be today. It could be tomorrow, let's say. I want to get on a flight and you'll see stuff like $80, $60, $90, and pick my seat and bring my luggage included. And I'll be there in 1 hour or less. I mean, this is crazy. Because we're in the Eurozone, but 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. I mean, that's nothing. But what's even better is it's like, let's just say you go, I want to check out the country, go through the countryside. I'll just go down to the train. And the guy at the train says something crazy like, it'll be $50. I mean, it's crazy stuff. And here we are in the USA and we have nothing like it other than, yeah, I can fly to, wherever, Chicago. But what's that flight going to cost me if I'm trying to leave tomorrow or the next day? That's what we're dealing with over here, man. Crazy. Don't even let me get started with this. All right. And you can go to different countries too, not just states or provinces. I can go to different countries for 80, 90, 70, $100. Like I said, stupid Americans. And the first time that I went over there in a long time, I took the wife and I was like, the wife. So that means I had to bring 2 pieces of luggage. So we get off the plane. At this time, let me see, last time. It doesn't matter. We get off the plane and then we're walking and she's like, how come everybody has one bag? I started laughing. I was like, because their bags are free with one bag. The second bag, this flight I'm about to pay like $70. My bag's going to cost more than that. It was funny as hell. But nonetheless, Victor Marrero, when are you going to start your worldwide tour? Do you have a date for this? Are you going to meet some of the other SSN Nation members on your worldwide tour? Victor Marrero, we're definitely on the wrong side of the ocean. We're getting jammed up and robbed with these prices. I say so much while in Europe, and that's eating out daily. Oh my God, Victor Marrero, stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an affinity for the EU, even though they kind of have a little problems. But from an ordinary citizen standpoint, there is no problem. The reason why I say this is what we have in, like, okay, everybody loves or goes to New York. What's your options in New York? You got the subway. You have a train, central stations. You have trains. You have subway, right? You have buses. Transportation to, in and out of that city to other major cities in the Northeast corridor. Simple. Well, imagine if the whole country was like that. Imagine this Amtrak that we have in America is a joke. Imagine if you actually had a train that's actually situated where you can actually eat, sleep, drink, which we have here in America, but it's Amtrak. I mean, it's night and day. It's crazy. Faster in the Eurozone because why? They have speed trains. They're not going 55 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour. And they're not going to charge you like airplane prices to go from one country to another. So you have all the advantages. Victor Marrero sitting here talking about food in the EU zone. Again, great food. And we're over here paying $35 if you go out to a restaurant. Over there, to be fair. Restaurants cost hold on. I'm referring to Switzerland and Monaco and places like this, right? You're going to pay crazy prices. But in other places, the prices are right. $10 meals like they should be. $8. Come on. Never mind. I'm not even going to get into this right now because I get upset just thinking about it. But where are we going? We leave for Europe 15th of August to the 25th, going to Puerto Rico first for a couple of weeks. All right. So are you going to let us know where you're going to be in the EU zone? I know you're going to Spain. I know that. That's Spanish language. Where else are you going? That's what I want to know. Do you have an itinerary? That's only 10 days. That might mean you're only going to, you go to 2 spots in 10 days, maybe. But in the EU zone, it doesn't take much. You can get on a train or you can get on a plane and you'll be someplace in an hour. So it's not really that bad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching this live stream. Tim Smith, always coming in out right when I'm getting ready to leave. I see you. Thank you so much, man. All right. Victor Morel says, we're going to Spain, France, Italy, Germany, Greece, Turkey. Then come out of the USA for Christmas, then to Southeast Asia. Damn. He's going on a worldwide tour. He's going to join the Mr. Worldwide Club. Congratulations, Victor Morel, on your service at Chase, man, and your service in the military as well, getting those multiple retirement checks. Great job. Investments on all fronts, the real estate, stocks, and learning his option trading. That's awesome. So again, grow is the key right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I love you guys very much. And you know what time it is out here. There's a lot of stress, duress. People are in an emotional state because it's not hard living paycheck to paycheck or worse. It's not hard worrying about your job. There's a lot of things that people have to worry about right now. And that's very, very unfortunate for the country that has a population that pays the amount of taxes that they do. So just keep all this in mind. Try to stay calm out here. Make sure you're doing your best, whatever you're trying to do. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.